Thank you, everyone, for joining me this afternoon. My name is Mark. I will be your presenter this afternoon. So, today we're going to go over all things regarding bookings with Apple Vacations, how to make a basic booking, how to make things a little bit more efficient within VAX when you're doing your search. We are going to talk about more advanced booking techniques such as multi stop destinations or maybe offsetting your air and hotel dates, how to add basically when you make a reservation and you have accounts such as at Barrelstar, so you have your star agent rewards and everything like that, how to enter that into the system so you can register your bookings. So we have a lot to actually cover today, and I am going to keep the line open. So if you guys have any questions, just stop me and we will go ahead and answer your questions right away. That way we don't wait till the end of the session and you guys forget your question or anything like that. So why don't we go ahead and just start off. We are on our My Apple Online main page right here. Before we get into any of the booking portions of it, you guys are in the Houston area, the most of you are. By chance, do you guys have any customers that may be out of like Dallas area? Okay, awesome. So I want to touch base on, we have a product out there called Exclusive Nonstop Vacation Flights. You may have heard of them as charters in the past. So how this works is us at Apple Leisure Group, we purchase seats with an airline and then we sell them online. And what it does is it has additional benefits for you to book those specific flights and also for the customer as far as maybe some policies and procedures go. So why don't we go ahead and kind of take a look at it. So on our Apple Vacations main page, under flight info, it says exclusive vacation flights. If we click on that, it will give you a flight schedule for all of our markets. And you can see we have quite a few if I start dragging everything down. I want to focus on the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but it's going to be the same with all of our markets. If you have people out of Denver, Detroit, Milwaukee, Chicago, if you just click on the city you have, it'll pull up a link for 2018 and 2020. What this is it's a calendar of the flight schedule. So let's go ahead and click on 2020. So just wait for that to pull up here. So out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, starting in basically mid-May through almost the end of August, we have a bunch of different destinations that we offer on these products. We have Cancun and Cozumel, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Cabo San Lucas, Puerto Vallarta, and Punta Cana. And it'll tell you the days of the week it operates and kind of the duration, which would be however many nights that your customers are looking, and departure dates. So if you have a question on if this product would fly around this time, you can always go into here and see if it is going to be available possibly. So let's scroll down a little bit and kind of see some of the benefits. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Okay, so below here are some of the options that are available with our Sun Country exclusive nonstop flights. So you get your complimentary non-alcoholic beverages. You can purchase beer, wine, and mixed drinks and snacks for these flights. And also you can prepay your check bags and carry-on bags once we actually create an airline confirmation number for your customers. That's going to be around 45 days prior. And then from there, they can go on to Sun Country's website and they can book their bags and everything like that, and seat selections, because that's a big thing for customers nowadays is their seat assignments. So that's where you can view the schedule. So if we go back here, still under flight info and baggage, seats, and more, it will kind of tell you how to find your record locator and everything like that. So let's click on that. So you can check on the comments in the reservation around 45 days prior to departure. But the easiest way to do it is when you make a reservation around 45 days prior to departure, you can just pull up your reservation. It's right on the face of your booking. This could be the easiest way to actually locate it, to be honest. It also gives you directions on how to enter it into Sun Country's website to where you can log in and view the customer's account for that actual package. It's pretty simple, right? Exactly. So I kind of want to hop out of here real quick and kind of show you more information regarding these where you can find it. So I'm just going to go into a different supplier real quick that we offer because it's going to be the same across all brands. If you go under travel info and the exclusive nonstop flights, kind of gives you a little bit more information. So the one thing I really want to talk about with you guys is the comps, because I know you said you're going to be working on a lot of groups. If you click on right here where it says see here, it will show you kind of the possibilities that you can save your customers some money with going with these exclusive nonstop flights because you get air credits. So on a contracted group, Anthony will talk more about this on your next training because he's our group's expert, and he'll go over the two different types of groups and the benefits of both and go over your group's dashboard with you as well. But for a contracted group, you can kind of see the different air credits that you would have with a contracted group. And what you can do is you can give that back to your customers. Or if you want, you can add that back to your commission or split it, whatever you want to do with it. And with your flexible groups, kind of the same way. So a flexible group is where you don't actually have to sign a contract. It's a minimum of 5 rooms. And you just basically book it in backs like you would any normal reservation. And for every 20 paid seats, you get up to a $400 credit. Same thing. You can provide that back to your customers, or you can add it to your commission. You're just going to have to let the people know that, do the comps, how you want to handle that. So you have additional benefits for those as well. So let's go back a page. In here as well, it gives you all the information that you'll need. Same thing as with the other site that we were at. But that's the biggest thing I kind of wanted to touch base with, the benefits on those flights from there. Also, all right, let's jump back to the Apple's page. So I can show you in there where you can maybe find a little bit more information. Under Agent Resources, Policies and Forms, you're going to have more information that you'll need in here as well. So let's touch base on the AVOK cashback option for your travel protection. Are you guys familiar with travel protection offered with our brands? A little bit. Okay. So within the next probably week or so, it is going to be changing. So everything across our brands is going to be the same. So you don't have to worry about your Apple Vacations brand being different from FunJet, TI, everything like that. It's all going to be basically follow the same thing. So it'll make things a little bit easier when you try to explain those benefits with your customer. So one of the benefits with the lower deposit when you purchase the AVOK at this point is, we'll go ahead and take a look and kind of see. So it gives you your deposit rules with and without the travel protection. So for example, land only is $50 per person without it. If you do opt in and get the travel protection, it's $1 plus that travel protection. With those exclusive nonstop vacation flights, without it, it's $125 deposit per person. With it, it's $50 plus that travel protection. Here's where it's going to be extremely beneficial for your customers. with scheduled airfare. So published airfare is basically like booking an airline directly. So Houston, probably the biggest airline you have out there is United. Without travel protection, you have to pay for that airfare in full, plus a 50 per person hotel deposit. With that travel protection, you can hold that booking for as little as $100 per person deposit plus that travel protection. And same thing with a bulk or contracted scheduled airfare, where it's going to be roughly about $200 per person, depending on the carrier. Some of the carriers have non-refundable bulks, so where you might have to pay for it up front if you don't have that travel protection, but the majority of the standard ones are at $200 per person. If you opt in for the travel protection, it's $100 per person plus that travel protection. And it's a cancel for any reason. If you get that cash back option, the customers get that refund less that travel protection. They do have another option as well where you can actually get vouchers. So let's back out of here and look at the options for the travel protection. So here are some of the benefits. So you have that lower deposit option. It's a cancel for any reason. You get the low deposits as well. With the voucher one, you would get basically a refund for what's ever refundable, and then a voucher to use on another Apple vacation for whatever penalties may be. So you have two options that you can do. The most popular one will be the cashback option, which is the one that we would recommend. Have you ever had a customer that had the voucher option? Okay, so you're familiar with it. Okay, perfect. Another thing I want to touch base on with these exclusive nonstop flights out of Dallas is the ease of making changes to reservations. So down the road, for example, you have, let's say I have a reservation and I'm not able to travel anymore, but I have someone that wants to take my place. Because us at Apple Leisure Group, we own those seats, so there are seats. We can make those changes and do that complete name change for as little as a $0 fee if you have that travel protection. If you don't have travel protection, it'll probably be like $25, $50. And also, compare that with a scheduled airfare. Most airlines do not accept a name change. So like a complete name change. So going from Mark to, let's say, James. Most carriers do not allow that type of change, where you'd be subject to whatever penalty may be. So that is another benefit with these exclusive nonstop flights. Obviously, if you have the AVOK with the cashback option, out of California, we might have some out of Los Angeles. We don't have any from the San Francisco area, though. So, all right, I lost track of. Yeah, so basically, you're not going to be able to do that with the scheduled airfare options. All right, so let's go back to our main page real quick. And let's talk about the booking engine. On your left-hand side, you have your Book Now option. It's pretty self-explanatory. You have your departure city, you have your destination city right here. You can book up to 4 rooms and 8 passengers on one reservation. That does include children. If you are booking an infant, so an infant is anyone under the age of 2, you have 2 different options. So I want to kind of point you out where if you have questions on booking an infant, what you can do. So let's click on it right here. So the 2 options are A, you can book the infant as a lap child, and the other option would be purchasing a seat for the infant. So it'll tell you how to go about it. So if you want the lap child, when you put in your search that you have a child on there, under the age, select IN right here, because that'll be a lap child. If you want to purchase a seat, enter the age of 1. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that real quick. So we're in our search right here. We have 2 adults. Let's say they're traveling with an infant. So an infant is still considered a child, so 1 child. And then we have to select the age. So IN for a lap child, or the number 1 for the age if you want a seat. So I actually want to show you how to find the easiest way for your exclusive nonstop vacation flights. Right up here under your book now, it says exclusive nonstop vacation flights. This is what we call our charter destination search. It will give you your package type. We're going to use flight and hotel for example purposes. Under your origin, you're going to select the origin that you're flying from or the market that you're flying from. So let's take a look at Dallas. And for the departure month, they were seasonal, so basically May through August. So I'm going to just look at June of 2020. Again, you have your number of rooms and number of adults on the reservation. If you have a promotion code, here's where you can add it. I always add the travel protection right away because I like to include that to my quote with the customers, because it's always easier to remove a cost rather than add a cost when you give them a pricing. And let's go ahead and just hit search real quick. Okay, perfect. So in June of 2020, here is all of the options for your customers. So just for purposes, because it's a little cleaner, I'm going to use the date of the 13th, which is right here on the right-hand side. It's a Saturday. You see the destinations we offer: Cancun hotels, Riviera Maya hotels, and then Cancun and Riviera Maya. One thing I want to point out is it's easier to use the Cancun and Riviera Maya airport code rather than using the one that says Cancun hotels or Riviera Maya hotels. Just because down the road, let's say you use your filter for the Cancun hotels only, that will filter out any of the other properties in the Riviera Maya area. So if your customers want to change their hotel to a Riviera Maya hotel, those options won't pull for you. So it's always easier to use your filters within the booking search, and we'll go over the filters and just use Cancun Riviera Maya. So I'm going to use that as an example. So when you hover over your destination you want to go, it tells you the number of nights that are available for you to book. So for example, this one shows a 5-night package. Let's say next week you don't see this 5-night package for these dates, that means it's sold out. So let's go ahead and just do 7 nights real quick, and all you have to do is click on it. And let's wait for that inventory to pull up. And wait. There we go. It's searching. All right, perfect. So it will automatically select a hotel for you. And you'll be able to tell which hotel selected because it's going to be bordered in blue, and it'll tell you your current selection. If you ever want to look at the hotel profile, click on the name of the hotel. And let's kind of review how the hotel profile looks. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so just waiting for it to refresh on me. There we go. So you will have your timed banners that kind of slide through for all the pictures. You can click on pictures if you want to kind of scroll through it at your own pace. Below your pictures are going to be the current promotions that are offered. If you have any questions on what that promotion may entail, just click on it and it'll expand it for you and it gives you the information. So on this one, you get a $35 spa credit for and a selected couples massage for 2 for 50 minutes. So what's required on this is you just enter honeymoon in your special service request during the checkout. Okay, great. That's easy. We'll go through that. And it also requires proof of marriage certificate that it has to be within 90 days of being married. So it tells you the details of the promotion and what's needed. So let's go ahead and collapse that. Below are going to be more hotel details for you, such as this one has a $1.60 per night, looks like government surcharge. Any student spring break rules, that will be in here as well. You may see parking fees, you may see additional resort fees. I know Cancun area has an eco tax, so anything would be in here too, but I'll show you where else you can find all that information. You can expand the hotel policies by just clicking on it. Same with transportation. It'll tell you how far away from the airport it is. So now you can click through the tabs. So you can look at the amenities, the accommodations. So let's say you click on accommodations. It tells you the room category and gives you a little bit of description of it. So, for example, this Jewelry Suite Garden View gives you the option for 1 king bed or 2 double beds. You can always put in your special service request what bedding option that you want. It is based off of availability and isn't guaranteed until it's actually signed a few days prior to your customer's departure. Occupancy limits, what's allowed in the room. So this one is 3 adults, 2 kids, 4 combined. So if you have 3 adults in the room, you meet the occupancy limits and you can't get any more people in. You can do 2 adults, 2 kids. You can do 1 adult, a couple kids. So it kind of tells you the occupancy limits as well. You can click on dining to see the restaurants that are there. Some of the hotel profiles might give you a little bit more detail on the restaurants and bars, such as I know for AM Resorts, it'll give you what the actual dress code attire may be. So whether it's casual, business casual, elegant. So just keep in mind, you can kind of find out a little bit of information there. Otherwise, what you can do is just always go onto the hotel's website and it'll tell you as well. You can look at activities and TripAdvisor reviews on your hotel profile as well. Anybody have any questions on how to look at the hotel profile? No? Awesome. That would be nice. I'm more of a picture book person myself. So give me the pictures and the video over text any day. Yep. I completely agree. So right next to the hotel's name, you might see a plus sign. If you see that plus sign, you can click on it and it'll expand your room categories for other room categories that are available. Next to it, you'll see whatever promotions are valid. And then, before we go over kind of the select button area, kind of want to just show you something. Let me see if I can find a hotel that has this. Okay, perfect. All right, so do you see on my screen now Sapphire and then also Reflect Cancun? Under now Sapphire, you see this Junior Suite Deluxe Tropical View. Do you see this number 9 right here, right above my cursor? If you see a room category that has a number next to it, so the number 9 means we have 9 or more rooms available in this room category. If you see 8 through 1, that's true availability. So if you see 5 rooms, that means we only have 5 rooms left in our allotment. Doesn't mean we can't request more, though. You can also click on this calendar right here to look for any additional availability. So if you have 3 rooms that are looking for a room category and it just shows 1, you can click on that calendar, kind of scroll through to see what dates might be available for all the rooms. So I want to compare that to the hotel below at Reflect Cancun. This just shows the room category name. So you notice how there is no number or calendar. that means it's a direct link hotel. So on direct link hotels, that means the hotel controls the inventory, the hotel controls the rates. If you don't see that room category pulling or that hotel pulling, that means they're sold out, or they closed us out to do some updates on rates. So just keep that in mind. You're going to see different types of room categories as well. This one specifically tells you if it's a direct connect. So that's just something I kind of like to point out. Yeah, yeah, and also, when you see all this information kind of in your middle box in your hotels, you can hover over it and it tells you kind of what it is. So like this Rio Palace Riviera Maya, you have this light blue box. If you hover over it, it tells you you get an additional 1,000 bonus royalty points. When you spoke with Clint not too long ago, do you guys have any questions on the new Waves program? Well, what I can do is when I send you the email of today's recording, I can include that as well. So everything is going under Waves. So Waves is our new agent rewards program. So going away is your bonus royalties with Apple. Going away is your bonus cash with Funjet, United Vacations, Southwest Vacations, Blue Sky Tours. So everything's just going to be one. So any type of booking you make in Vax under our 6 brands is going towards your wave points. So from there, what you can do is you could redeem your points by travel. So you can get discounts on travel. You can convert it to a virtual visa. And then from there, you can go online and basically use that wherever visa is accepted online. So you may see where it says this bonus royalties or maybe a light green box that says waves. That just means you're getting additional points for every booking that you make. So below there, you have this dark blue box that says instant OTA price match. Are you guys familiar with what an online travel agency is? So, okay. So let's touch base on that. An online travel agency is companies like Expedia, Priceline, Travelocity. Yep. So this particular hotel right here, Rio Palace Riviera Maya, if you see that instant OTA price match, as long as you include screenshots of everything being the same, dates, occupancy, room category, classes of service, everything like that, as long as it all matches, we will auto match those OTAs. Your commission will get capped at your 10% because most of those OTAs, if they pay out commission, the max you'll get is 5%. So you don't have to wait around to tell your customers that it is price matched. I'll kind of show you where you can find more price match information a little further down the road. So how many times have you guys gone in Vax and you notice under your pricing it says pay monthly? Okay. So let's click on it. So what this is it gives your customers an option to pay monthly with a third-party company called Uplift. Are any of you that are on the phone, do you guys have any husbands or boyfriends that are into shoes? Like sneakers? So am I. So on a lot of those shoe websites, they have a company called Affirm. So it's the same concept as Affirm. So Uplift, you can use up until I think like 5 days prior to departure, and it pays your reservation off in full. Your customers make 12 monthly payments to Uplift. Yep, yep. So they can use this Uplift feature up until that point. So they can basically take their vacation now, pay later. It's a little bit different than our normal. So basically, up until from when you book your trip to then you have 12 months to pay it. So let's talk about some of those benefits. So one big thing is it pays it in full for you. You don't have to hound your customers for deposit or final payment. So Uplift pays us, the customers pay Uplift. So that's one benefit. Any issues that come down the road, most common question is, well, what happens if they default on a payment? Who cares? That's between your customer and Uplift. Your reservation's paid for in full. You get your commission. If your customers unfortunately have to cancel a reservation, the refund comes from Uplift and they take it off their account balance. Another great reason for it is you see an increased upsell on your packages. Because you have the 12 months overall to pay it off, your customers are more likely to get an upsell room category. So they're going to go with a higher room category. They're going to add that extra excursion on there. They might upgrade from that shared transfer to and from the hotel to a private transportation option. So you see an increased package cost. So it's. Go ahead. You have $100 commission protection on your reservations as long as it's paid in full. So typically what it would be is if it's paid in full and you have travel protection, you would just typically get that commission on the travel protection. But you're going to be getting $100 per room on your reservation. So good point. That is another benefit for that travel protection as well. So let's talk about maybe another scenario where Uplift may apply. So I don't know about you guys, but I have some crazy friends sometimes where they might go on a whim and say, hey, we're going to get married in 20 days down to Mexico or Jamaica or wherever. I don't plan to have my friends getting married that close. So sometimes it's hard to have that extra money set aside maybe on your credit card or in your bank account if you use a debit card to pay for that trip. But you really want to go. Well, if you use this Uplift option, they're still able to go. They just pay that 12 monthly payments to Uplift. Because typically our payment policy is you can pay a deposit up until 45 days prior to departure. That's when the final payment is due. So, yeah. Typically, you're going to get approved. It's a soft credit check. They don't actually run a hard credit check. So, I mean, if you have really poor credit, you might have a higher fee. But the majority of the time, the fee that you pay per month is going to be less than your actual credit card interest that you'd get. So it's a really great option for your customers. Yeah. They can. You can do it on each reservation that you have. I've done it recently with shoes. I'm 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 a big Jordan fan, so I got a couple pairs uh, early November, and then last week I got a couple of the new drops that are coming out, so I did it too. I didn't feel like spending like $1,200 on a pair of shoes right away. Got like three pairs of shoes. So that's what I did, and it was for me. It was literally like a $2 a month fee, so it was pretty inexpensive. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it has its benefits. I mean, you can run into trouble with it if you do it too often, but for your purposes, you won't care. That's not really your issue at that point. So that is one highlight I kind of wanted to point out. Is it's a great option for customers, and not many people know about it. They see it there, they don't click on it to see what it's about. So just keep that in your back pocket because I think you're gonna be able to close a lot of sales using that uplift option. Mhm. So let's talk about how to kind of sort your hotels and filter your hotels down. So we made it pretty easy for you guys to filter out what your customers do not want. So you obviously have your sort by option right up here. So if you do the drop down, you can sort by your price point, alphabetically, closest and furthest from the airport, location, and also by rating. I actually like to use my filter on the left-hand side. It makes things so much easier. So we're currently at 172 hotels that are available for these dates. If you have a specific hotel you're looking for, let's say you type it in. Let's do Ryu for example. Once you start typing Ryu, it will tell you all the reviews that are available. And then from here, what you can do is click on the name and it'll filter it directly to that hotel. So you don't have to scroll through to find the specific property. If you want to remove your filter, just highlight it, get it out of there by using the backspace and hit find again. Then it will update to all the hotels that were pulling it originally. You have this sliding price scale as well. So if your customers are on a budget, you can slide this to whatever their budget may be. So let's say they have a like $4,000 budget. Let's just move this down to around 4,000. All right, 40. There we go. It will update everything for you. So we had 175 something hotels. Now we're at 164. So those additional hotels that were above that budget are gone. So you're getting rid of what your customers do not need. If your customers are looking for a specific rating, you can click on the rating and it will filter it down there. So let's say they're looking for a 6 ample property. So we're currently at 164 properties. Well, if you use that filter, it goes down to 49. Or maybe they're looking for hotels that offer casinos close by. Okay, click on casino, you're down to 6. Or you may have a reservation where they don't want any kids around. Oh, let's click on adults only. You're filtering it down to 37 properties. You have your points of interest below. So I want to be close to Playa del Carmen, or maybe that Xcaret Park. Use your filters to get rid of whatever your customers don't need. It will make your life a lot easier. Has anybody ever played with the hotel filters before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am on the same page with you. It just makes your life a lot easier getting rid of stuff you don't need. So now let's go ahead and select our hotel. So I'm just going to use Review Palace Coastal Harris as an example, just by hitting select. So we're going to select our room category. Let's wait for that to update. Now it's going to go to our flights. So you have your sort by option here, or you have your filter on the left-hand side to where you can filter down. Maybe you want a morning departure time and a morning arrival time, or non-stops, or specific carriers. You can use your filters as well on your left-hand side. So this pulled up, and do you notice that these first two flights have this red C? So that red C means it's our exclusive nonstop flights. You'll also see the sales messaging right here. So that's the easiest way to identify which flights are our exclusive nonstop flights. I want to see something here real quick. So we have the 140. All right, let's filter to some country. Okay, so you don't see these flights in there. All right, perfect. So sometimes you may see, especially like with Frontier, if you ever have customers that are out of St. Louis or Chicago, you might see the same flight, but one has the C and one does not. That just means we purchase X amount of seats on that plane. So don't get confused if you ever see the same flight two different times. So I'm just going to select this 141 just for purposes. Then it's going to take you over to your return flight. All right, I'm just going to select whatever one. Oh, clicked on that. Didn't mean to. There we go. So now we're at our itinerary summary screen. So now what we can do here is if you want to add a rental car, you can click on that rental car and it'll add your rental car options or features. Let's click on features. So from here, what we're going to do is basically go grocery shopping for features. That's the way I like to use it, is you're in your grocery store. If you want something, you add it to your cart before you go to checkout. That's essentially what we're doing. You have your filter options over here that you can use. One thing I want to point out is because Apple Vacations includes transfers on your package, whenever you see this private transfer, that's just going to be the upgrade charge. So let me ask you this. You guys are going to wherever on a vacation, and you notice that for this example, the private upgrade difference is $65. All right, so the private transfer is your booking gets on the transfer, goes to the hotel. Without that private transfer, you can go up to like 2 or 3 stops. So do you think it's a better experience just to get on your transfer and go to your hotel rather than being that last stop and maybe taking a little bit longer to get to your destination? I think so. Most people would tend to agree. So I always like to give them that private transfer option and tell them about the experience that you're going to have rather than stopping at other properties. So if you want to add something to your cart, all you would do is hit add to cart. So let's go ahead and add those private transfers to our cart. All right, so now you see it above. So let's go ahead and collapse this. So let's talk about our pricing stamp up here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You have your days prior to departure, your base package price. Your base package price is going to be the package that you chose. So this one's air, hotel, and transfers. So if it's land only, it's going to be your land only and transfers because Apple does include the transfers. Then it gives you your adult base price. So it takes that total base package price, divides it by the number of adults. If you have kids, that'll give you the breakdown as well. Any options such as your upgrade transfers or any excursions will be under your options. It breaks down the travel protection. This one has a promotion code on here. You have your total package price, your per person price, and again, gives you your option for uplift right here. If you have questions on the taxes and fees, you can click here. It'll show you what's included, what's not. Terms and conditions. I want to go to the baggage charges because this is going to be a lot easier for you to do this than go to the airline's website. So let's click on additional baggage charges. Takes you to this page. Anywhere that's blue when you hover over it and it underlines it, means you can click on it. So let's click on additional baggage charges. It'll take you to this media page. And what will happen is it'll alphabetize your airlines. And so let's wait for that to pull up. There we go. So what you're going to do is just scroll down to your airline. Then you can click on the link, and what it will do is it'll take you directly to that airline's baggage policy area. So you don't have to go to the airline's website, see where you can find the baggage policy. Same thing with an online check-in. If they offer an online check-in, you can click right here on that link, it takes you right there. So kind of want to point that out to save you guys some money. Or not money, but time. Well, time is money, essentially. All right, so below we have our email print itinerary option. This is a standard email itinerary. Nothing fancy. You can't click on anything to view anything or anything like that. I want to go to the one below. Has anybody ever created a sales email? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well, but it just makes things so much easier because a lot of times your customers only don't want one choice. With this sales email, you can get up to 6 hotel or room categories. You can get up to 3 rental cars, 6 features, all in one email. So let's go ahead. All you're going to do is hit create sales email. It changes over to preview sales email, and now what we got to do is basically like a la carte, add what options we want in our package. So I'm going to click on hotels. Let's wait for that to get there. Then I'm going to wait for it to update, otherwise it screws everything up. Alright, hotels update. There we go. So to add whatever components you want to your sales email, right below your select button is going to be it. So let's say we want to add Rio Palace Costa Harris here, add to sales email. And let's compare that to maybe Rio Palace Riviera Maya, add to sales email. Scroll down, let's find another one. Iberostar Star Selection Parisa Lindo. Let's add to sales email. So again, remember, you can do 6 hotels, or you can do 1 hotel with 6 different room category options, however you want to split it up. Now let's go ahead and add our features. What features are we going to want to add to our sales email? So let's go in here. So you can add your travel protection option if you want. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's put that private transportation option up there. Let's see, maybe some water activities. Maybe you yourself, when you've been into a destination, you've had an awesome experience with a excursion. So for me, I did the swim with the dolphins when I was in the Maroma area, and I'm not a big fan of being in water with large fish around, but I actually really enjoyed the experience. Those were pretty cool. So let's say I want to add a dolphin counter. Add to sales email. All right, let's go ahead and collapse that. Now we can preview our sales email. And let's talk about some of the things that you can do within this sales email. So you can send it up to 10 recipients. I always recommend including it to yourself. You can create whatever text you want here. gives you your amount of passengers and your flight information. So the flights that you select are going to be the flights that are on the sales email. It'll tell you your check-in and check-out dates for the hotel. And then what it will do is in pricing order, it'll put your properties. So this will be your base pricing here. Any features, travel protection will be an additional cost. And you'll be able to see that here because it breaks down like the travel protection options for you. It will also break down the individual other components that you chose for your features on there as well. And the nice thing is your customers can click on it, take a look at the hotel profile. They can click on the dolphin encounter. They can see the profile of a dolphin encounter. So they're going to be able to view all the information like you could in VAX by clicking on the profile. You can't do that with a regular sales email, or regular email, I should say. So, yeah. No, it would not. So, I mean, if you want to add the commission, then I would recommend removing the pricing options. So, one thing with hiding your prices, so let's go ahead and hide those prices. The reason why it's there is we all know when you give a pricing to a customer, they might do price shopping. Then they're not necessarily going to pick what's the best option for them because they're going to be focused on that price. When you remove those prices, they're going to be looking at the profiles, looking at the excursions and everything as well to see what best fits them. We all know a vacation is about making those memories, having that great experience. So when you include those prices, it kind of takes that portion of this opportunity for these customers away. So this is a great way for you to sell them on an overall experience rather than giving them a price point. So speaking of commission, right here is where you can add your commission if you choose to. Under booking administration. So let's say you want to add $150, just put in the amount you want and hit set commission. Anytime you add an agency fee to a booking, there is a 10% processing fee. So for example, $150, you're actually going to be getting $135 because $15 is a processing fee. $100 is $10, $500 is $50, and so forth. So that's why it might show a little bit different where it's like, well, my gross total went up that amount, but my commission didn't go up that total amount. You can display it as a line item, but most people will not. If you ever need to remove your agency fee, put 0.00 and hit set commission. It'll remove it for you. So before we actually proceed to the checkout page, let's talk about two of the options that you can do in VAX that are kind of my favorites. So under here we have our recent searches. But it is very rare that you have customers that are going to go strict with those searches. They're going to want pricings for maybe different dates, maybe different occupancies. So let's go ahead and, for example, let's say they want to go the 20th now and price that out. So we're going to go back to our search page. Let's go back there. Let's change your dates over. Let's go 1 week later. Okay, so we're going to go the 20th through the 27th. You're going to hit your search. So let's wait for everything to pull up. Any data. There we go. So I'm just going to keep the flights showing as it is. So this one's pulling out of Chicago. Not a big deal. We'll select this Route Palace, Coastal Harris. And I'm just going to leave whatever features that are on here currently on here. I just kind of want to show you this option. So we have our recent searches on the right-hand side. You can have 2, 3, 5, 7, however many. You can always go back to each itinerary by clicking on whatever itinerary it is. So if I want to go back to itinerary 1, I click on itinerary 1. There's this compare button right here. So if you actually check in the box, you can compare separate itineraries, up to 3 itineraries. So let's go ahead and compare these 2 itineraries. So I only have 2 searches in here, so I can only compare the 2, and then go ahead and hit compare. So on this page, it'll give you a side-by-side comparison of the packages you were looking at. It'll tell you the type of package, your city, your dates, occupancy, hotel, room type, flights, any features you have on there, side by side. It's a lot easier to kind of view a package this way than sending separate emails. You used to actually have to copy and paste, put it in an email so you can get everything in one. We are going to be working on an option where you can email this to your customers from the screen. Right now, that's in the works. If you want to view your commission, click on View Administrative Information. You want to hide it? Hide it. So that's one of my favorite features, is comparing that. Yeah. Three. So right here, you'll be able to see it because it'll be 0 of 3, and then if you start checking the box, it'll say however many you have. So you can get up to 3. Well, now let's say they want to add a person. Price out what it is to add a third person. Okay. So there's this duplicate button right here. So if you click on the duplicate, it takes you to your search page. And now you can change your occupancy. And what this will do is when you hit search, it's going to select all the previous components you had on your search. Makes things a little easier, because you don't have to go in, find your hotel, use your filters, get to your hotel. You don't have to scroll through your flights, find your flights, go into features, add all your features. It will select everything for you. It's a time saver. So let me go back to our first itinerary have, and let's go ahead and proceed through checkout and actually make a reservation. So we're going to go to checkout. Here we go. So you start scrolling down. You have your option to change your room category at this point as well if you choose to. It'll tell you the specific amount, more or less. Keep in mind, if you do make any changes at the checkout page, just make sure that all your features are still back on there, because a lot of those features are associated with a hotel. So if you change your hotel, they might fall off, such as your private transfer option with Apple, or maybe shared transfers if you use a different brand. So just keep that in mind. All-in-one travel protection, whatever it may be. So you're scrolling down further, gives you your hotel advisories, gives you your hotel cancel fees. So we're going to keep going. In your travel protection option, you have to select an option. So here's a couple cool things that are going to be coming up. Let's say they decline the travel option, they put down their deposit. So currently, you're not able to go into VAX under your modifications and change component and add your travel protection on after you make that deposit. Well, in about a week, you're going to be able to do that yourself. So we're gonna be sending out a bunch of kind of flash emails letting you guys know that there's gonna be some new enhancements coming out. But that's a really cool one. That's been one that's been in the works, and we're answering the bell, and you guys are gonna be able to do that in VAX. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna book myself real quick. phone number. If you have customers that have frequent flyer numbers, you can enter it right here. So let's touch base on frequent flyer numbers. That can only be entered at time of booking. The reason why is most of these airlines use a GDS system. So that's basically the airline loads inventory into that GDS system. We pull from that GDS system. Once the reservation is made, that frequent flyer number will not go over to the airline. It only happens at time of booking. So if you have a reservation and down the road your customers say, hey, can you add my frequent flyer number or whatever, just go to the airline's website and add it. You do not need this TSA secure flight info to make a reservation. All right. Do that. So let's talk about your itinerary tools below. How many of you have had reservations, let's say with a Iberostar, where you have your kind of star number, your star rewards number? So that under the special service requests is where you're going to have to add those. So I'm going to explain this kind of like the frequent flyer information. It's always best to do it at time of booking because a lot of those hotels are direct link hotels, direct connect hotels. Once it's booked, you're unable to add. So your customers are always going to have some type of request normally. It might be a special occasion, and if it is, they're going to tell you. Or when you're reviewing the hotel profile with a room category that says 1 king or 2 doubles, they're going to request one of those, or a non-smoking room. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to get information as far as your hotel request prior to actually even when you get to this page. So let's go ahead and click on our hotel requests. You can put your hotel request right here. So it might be birthday. You can enter that in there. You can enter your star agent number, whatever it may be. X1, 2, 3, 4. Because I think it's four numbers. So then when it's booked, it goes over to the hotel. So that's going to be the best way to do that. If you have flight requests, you can enter that below. Depending on the airline, you might see boxes here instead, where it might have wheelchair request or so forth like that. And you would just click on the box and add however many passengers you need. Add-on requests. So add-on requests is going to be probably most important for your transfers. With private transfers, you're able to get up to 6 passengers. So you may have 2 reservations or 3 reservations, and you want to get them on the same transfer. You can do that in Bax and basically put that request in. And all you have to do is just put reservation XYZ traveling with booking. And what happens there is that information will go over to our ground handlers and start in this destination. And so they know, okay, I got these other reservations to put them on the same private transfer. Internal comments right here is going to be your own notes that you want in the reservation. That's only for you to see. Payment information. Are you guys comfortable with this payment screen? Okay. The one thing I just kind of want to point out is once you make your deposit or payment on here, these never go away. So some people do get confused where, oh, I made my $250 deposit. As long as your total amounts of payment exceed or meet your deposit due or full payment due, you're fine. So you have your payment field right here. I'm not going to get too much into that. The one thing I do want to touch base on is, remember at the beginning of today I talked about Southwest Vacations and the air credits. So Southwest Vacations is the only brand of ours that you can add your customers' air credits to for deposit. So you don't have to direct them. Well, you have to use your air credits with Southwest directly with the airline. Nope, you can use them in VAX. It would. Yep, under your card type, it'll show travel funds. And then once you select that, it'll ask you for like the airline confirmation number, and it'll verify the amount that you can use. You can only do it at time of booking though, because those air credits are used to pay for the airfare. If you make your reservation, there's no way for us to apply them. Below we have our final payment options. You have manually, which is always added. You can schedule an email reminder to whichever date you want and put in the email address you want that reminder to go to. If you pay the reservation in full prior to that specific date for that reminder, it'll still automatically send that email out to you because it's automated. There's no way to stop that. You also have an option, which I can't show here because I don't have any credit card information in here, to automatically pay your final payment. You select a date, it'll take your credit card information from above, and it'll charge it on that date. If you pay your reservation off in full prior to that date, it won't charge the card. So here's your terms and conditions, and let's go ahead and complete our booking. So we have our reservation. We created a reservation. Yay! Pretty simple, right? So once you create a reservation, you're going to get these three areas right up top. It says refund request, price match, and payment request. In the unfortunate event your customers may need to cancel, you cancel your reservation, or maybe you use the best price guarantee and their hotel went down. Any type of option where your customers have a refund, you can click on where it says refund request, fill this out, it sends it over to our accounting department. Price match. If you click on the price match, it'll tell you the information that's needed in order to do a price match. Payment request. You click on this, it's kind of like an email. You can put in your customer's name, customer's email, or your email address. What this will do is it'll send a payment link to that email recipient. And from there, they would click on it and they would pay their reservation, make their payment. They're not going to be able to make any modifications to the reservation. The only thing they're going to be able to do is add payment. This is a great option for you late at night, maybe before a holiday like tomorrow. You make a reservation for a customer, but you know you're not going to be in the office tomorrow and you're going to be busy with family. You can send them that payment link. It's good for 24 hours. They can click on it and make the payment. If it's outside of that 24 hours, just go back in, hit payment request, and resend them a new link. So not many people know that one's there. Well, cool. I always like to hear people learn stuff. So, basic reservation, yay, we made a basic reservation. So now we're going to get into kind of a little bit more of the complicated ones. So let's go back to our main page. Below your Book Now area, there's these areas where it says Advanced Search and Multiple Destinations. Let's click on Advanced Search. How many of you have had a instance where your customer's like, I want to go here, but I only need the hotel for X amount of dates? Has anyone had that? It's quite common nowadays. It could be maybe they have a 2-night anniversary stay voucher from booking a or a flexible group option. So you can offset those dates right in here. So let's go ahead. Let's use Dallas. So you're going to put in your origin, destination. Let's go to Port Vallarta now. Put in your travel dates. So the number of nights will be your total amount for your airfare. Below is going to be, again, you can get 4 rooms, 8 passengers on your reservation. Promo code if you have one, add travel protection. So you have additional filters below. So if you click on flight, all right, so it has this shop by option right here. Shop by price, shop by schedule. The default is shop by price. So what happens is the system matches up classes of service for the best pricing options for your customers. And there's only going to be a total of about 100 options within VAX for you. This shop by schedule option gives you more flight options. So you might see something on an airline's website that you don't see in VAX. Well, try this shop by schedule option, and more than likely it's going to pull up for you. This shop by schedule option also lets you select specific classes of service you want. Great option if you have a price match, because you have to match up classes of service. Or for another example, maybe, I know this is specific with United, but most carriers might do this as well, where customers have their Mileage Plus points. So they use those Mileage Plus points to upgrade with the airline directly to their Comfort Plus. And you need to be booked in a specific class of service in order to do that. So this is a way you can do it. You have your airline options here. You also have your hotel filters. So you can type in your hotel name that you're looking for. I do not recommend using this because if it's not available, it's going to give you an error and not go to your search page. So use your filters within your search already. Below you have your calendars. Here's where you would offset your air and hotel dates. So let's say they only need the hotel starting on the 23rd. Just click on the date that you want. Here's your rental car filters as well if you need it. So let's go ahead and hit search. Kind of show you how this looks. So when this refreshes, this page is going to look a little bit different than what you're used to, because on the shop by price option, it will always revert to hotel first, then your airfare. But with your advanced search options, it's going to be airfare first, then hotel. So this looks a little bit different. You have your search items over here if you need to. I just use the options here. So if you click on carrier name, it'll alphabetize your airlines. You click on departs, it'll sort it by earliest departure time. Earliest arrival time, stops layover is least to most expensive, or least to most number of stops. You will not see a flight in VAX that's going to be more than 2 stops, because the customer experience isn't that great with your 3-4 stops. So we filter those out to even offer them to customers. If you have a customer specifically asking for them, just book a different flight, give us a call, we'll change it over for you. So let's say you're doing a price match and you need to match up classes of service. If you click on this plus sign next to view class, it'll expand to your classes of service. And how it reads is top to bottom, left to right. So C will be the most expensive, least expensive will be T as in Tom. But that doesn't have any inventory. Typically anything you see left of Y as in Yankee class of service on most carriers is going to be their premium cabins. So for example, let's say I'm going to use this American flight and we need to select a Q as in Queen class of service. I'm going to click on Q as in Queen. Then it's going to take you to your return flight. You're going to view your class, select your class of service that you need. And now from here, you're going to price your selected flights. All right. Glad there was a bulk fare available. So on the screen, it'll tell you if there's a bulk fare available, and if so, it'll compare the two for you. So in this case, the total price is going to be a little bit less than a published rate. So remember some of the differences between a bulk scheduled airfare and a published scheduled airfare. So specifically with American, they offer that lower deposit option, even without the AVOK options. Published rate without the travel protection is going to be the airfare needs to be paid in full. So keep that in mind. You have the option to select which ones you want. So let's go ahead and just select bulk. And from here, it's going to take you to your itinerary to where you can select the other components. We're not going to go ahead and select anything. I'm just going to kind of show you how it looks because we offset our hotel dates. So you see we have our flights the 20th of May through the 27th, and our hotel the 23rd through the 27th. All right, so let's say we forgot to do that at our initial search page. Well, you can still offset them within this search. And all you have to do is go to hotels. And scroll down. So on your left-hand side under your hotel filters, you'll see additional search items. And from here, you'll see the calendar will pull up in just a second. And from here, you can offset your hotel dates. You won't be able to have more nights hotel than airfare, though. So just keep that in mind. You can only have less amount of nights for your hotel. So does anyone have any questions on the shop by schedule option or the advanced search, or basically offsetting your hotel dates? Cool. So now let's get into multi-stop destinations. So to do multi-stop destinations, from your Apple Vacations main page under your Book Now area, it's going to say multiple destinations. You can do your destination or package type. So we have air hotel, air only, which you're not going to really be able to use, hotel only with optional inter-island airfare, and then hotel only. So for purposes, I'm just going to do air and hotel. You have your options, multiple rooms, update people. Our recommendation is if you have multiple rooms on a multi-stop, do one booking at a time. Because you will thank us down the road if there's any modifications, because it's a lot easier. Because we can't add or remove people on a multiple destination without making a new reservation anyhow, and kind of tearing it apart and doing things behind the scenes, etc. So let's go out to Hawaii, for example. So I know I have somebody from the Bay Area, so they're going to go from San Francisco. And let's go out to Honolulu first, and then out to Maui. So let's go the 9th. You have your destinations here, so if you do not know the airport code and you start typing out Hawaii, it'll give you all the options for Hawaii. And then you can select what you need. We're going to do 3 nights in Hawaii. Because we chose air and hotel, you do not have an option to remove your flight for the over-the-water portion. You can, however, remove your hotel if you don't need it by just deselecting the check mark. Same thing with rental car. So in this case, I'm just going to have a hotel, no rental car in Honolulu. You have your hotel options here, but again, I don't recommend it unless you're offsetting your dates. Just use the calendar. So let's talk about multiple destinations before we go to our next destination. Because you can get multiple destinations on here, so you can get 4, 5, 6 different stops, it can look overwhelming because you're going to sit there and be like, okay, I have these 5 destinations. What do I need in all these destinations? It can be overwhelming. So if you just break it down kind of point to point, going from destination 1, destination 2, then destination 2 to 3, makes things a lot easier. So we're going to go to our second destination. We're going to go out to Maui. You're going to select your nights. Let's do 5 nights. And now let's think about this. Okay, we're going from Honolulu to Maui. Do I need a flight? Yes or no? You're going to select whatever you need. In this case, we need a flight because I don't think your customers are going to have a hovercraft. All right, so we're in destination 2 now. Do I need a hotel? Yes or no? Do I need a rental car? Yes or no? So if you look at it that way, it makes things a lot easier. You can add an additional destination here, or you can remove it. If you have one on there and you need to remove it, it'll be a little remove button right here, and you'll see that in just a few moments. Now you have your return flight options, so you can use your airline, cabin, preference, and stops. So here's also the really nice thing about our multiple destination tool. You have to have a minimum of 2 stops to do this. You can change your return city though. You just delete your original one and put in your new airport code. Just kind of like how I deleted San Francisco, I can change it to go back to Chicago if I need to. Just type in your new city, click on it, it'll pull the flights for that. So let's go back to San Francisco though. Not FPO. There we go. Now let's go ahead and hit search. We're not actually going to go in and select all of our components. I just kind of want to show you how the layout of the reservation looks. So because you have multiple destinations on here, it does take a little bit longer to do a search because it's searching for way more components. So it's going to go flights first. So I'm just going to kind of collapse all this just so you can kind of see how it looks. So you're going to select your flights. So it'll automatically go. You're going to select your San Francisco to Honolulu flight, then Honolulu to Maui, then Maui back to San Francisco or wherever you're going. Then it'll take you to this page, and then you select your other components that you need. So this is how the multiple itinerary looks. You have your flights, then you have destination 1, destination 2, etc. However many destinations you have on here. So the layout just looks a little bit different. But it's essentially going to be like a single stop destination that we just previously did, where you're just going to select your components. Does everyone kind of feel comfortable with how to create a multiple stop? Awesome. So let's go back to our Apple page and let's talk about pre and post cruise reservations. Do you guys book any cruises? Wildly popular option these days. So let me ask you this. Do you guys have those customers that want those pre and post nights hotel after their cruise? Do you book those in backs? Because you can. Well, we're going to show you how to do that. Because this way you're going to be able to get those packages through your preferred brand, so such as Apple Vacations. You're going to receive commission on that package. Then you can offer them that additional protection with that travel protection. Because we all know cruises don't always go, they may cancel. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. You're going to click on multiple destinations. And I'm just going to use Hawaii again as our example. You're going to select your departure city. So maybe San Francisco again. They're going to do a Hawaii cruise out of Honolulu. Select your dates. Select your airport that you're going to. So Honolulu. Select the number of nights you need. So they can do 1 night, pre, 2, 3, however many nights. So we're going to do 1. You're going to select your options here. So I'm going to keep the hotel here. I'm removing the rental car. I've been to Honolulu before. Lots of taxi and Uber options. So I don't think a car rental is going to be necessary unless you're going to really go out on the other side of the island. Destination 2 will be your cruise. So you can choose wherever. So let's say they're doing Kauai, whatever it may be. You're going to select the number of nights of your cruise. So let's say it's a 10-nighter. And you're just going to deselect your components. So they don't need flights because they're going to be on a boat. They don't need a hotel because they're going to be on a boat. They don't need a rental car because they're going to be on a boat. Now, let's add their post-night stay. We're just going to go add additional destinations. We're going to scroll down to that third destination and add wherever they're staying that post-night. So let's say they're going back from Honolulu. Change to the number of nights that you need. So we just want one night post. We're going to deselect the flight option because I don't need that flight. We're going to need the hotel, so we're going to keep that. Rental car, you can keep it, remove it, but if it's one night, I'm going to remove it. And now let's say your customers want to go back to San Diego. Just change your city. And let's hit search. Show you how that looks. Bueller, come on, let's go. So we're going to go ahead and select our flights. I'm just going to select anything. My computer is a little slow at the moment, so I'm apologizing. All right, great. So anytime you see something in red next to the times, it's going to be a next day arrival. And I'll tell you right here as well. So in this case, because it's an 11 p.m. flight out of Honolulu, it's not getting to Phoenix until the next morning. So just keep an eye out for that. So this is going to be how it looks. So you have your flights, San Francisco to Honolulu, then Honolulu, and then we changed it back to San Diego. Okay, fairly simple. You have three destinations here. Destination 1 is your pre, and it shows your one night hotel pre. Destination 2 is blank because we're on that cruise. Destination 3 is your one night post. Then if you want to add your features, you can add your AVOK cash back option on there. So now if you have those cruise options, you can still create revenue within VAX and make those bookings. You just got to have the three destinations, and that second destination, just deselect everything. If you forget to remove your flight for that third destination, you'll have that option to remove it up here. It'll say remove. So just in case you forget to do that, it'll say remove here. All right, so let's go back to our multiple destination search page. So we talked about how you can change your return city, and you have to have a minimum of 2 stops. So you have to be in the multiple destination field. Well, what happens if they don't need 2 destinations? Well, we can still do that. And let's go ahead and show you how to do it. It's a pretty common thing nowadays too. So you need a minimum of 2 destinations. So I'm just going to remove my third destination because I don't even need to bother with that. So we're still going to use Honolulu as our destination because it doesn't really matter where your destination is. So let's say they want to do a week in Honolulu. Okay, we got 7 nights. Well, we have destination 2. We don't need to actually have two destinations, but because this is the only option that you can do these types of bookings in, what you're going to do is destination 2, change it to your same city. So in this case, it'll be Honolulu. And then change your number of nights down to 0. And then you're going to deselect all these components here because it's basically a dummy stay. And now you'll be able to do that in multiple destinations where you can change your city that you need to go to with only having one destination. So does anybody have any questions on the pre-post cruise or changing your return city? Cool. So that is what I have for you. So do you guys have any questions on what we went over today? I know it was a little bit of a long one. Yeah, and I mean that's what we're here for. We're here to make things so you guys can be a little bit more efficient because now on some of these things where you might not have to call into the contact center and wait on hold, you can get them done in backs, then get on to your next lead and your next customer, so you can start making more money without spending as much time talking to us. We like talking to you, but I mean you want to make some money, so more efficient, the easier. So what I will do from here is I will go ahead and render the recording and everything. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to do. So I will get that either before I leave today or at earliest Friday morning. And I will include Anthony on there as well because he will be your group's expert for the next training. And he will work out dates and times to schedule the next training with you guys. And Marie, I know you have my email address. If you have any questions, please feel free and reach out. I'm here for you whenever you need it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy day to spend with me. And hopefully I get to talk to you guys sometime soon. But if not, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.